Ho, 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 and a bottle of rum. Well, what's going on? Yeah, it's about that time of year again. I've got something. That's not what I wanted to show you, by the way. This is what I wanted to show you. And it's something very simple, but something that is really bothering me. You hear that? This thing squeaks every time I open this door out to the garage. And yes, it's winter, and I wanna get this fixed. Now see, after a while, it doesn't squeak anymore, does it? But then once it's in there, you know what? I just think I figured it out. I just think I figured it out. I thought this was squeaking. It's not this. Look, see? I was going to pull that apart and show you how to fix that. What's happening is the edge of this deadbolt is rubbing on the edge of this strike plate right there, and I'm going to see what I can do about that. I think I can adjust this bottom one here out just a little bit. There's a little tab in here. See that tab? If I bend that out, that will push up against this and make it go closer to the door jamb. Does that make sense? And the top one has a strike for a regular strike plate for down here, up for the deadbolt. This one doesn't have a little paddle there. And in fact, usually the deadbolt has its own individual deadbolt strike plate, not one that comes all the way out here. But see, if I have that door closed, I can see there's a lot of slop there, see? How much I can push it in. But if I have it out, if I'm pulling on it this way, see, I have to push in a little bit to get this to latch. But if it's pulled up against here, it's rubbing on the edge of that. Now, there's another way I could fix that too. I could take a reamer bit and ream off the edge of this, but I don't really want to do that. I want to keep the door closed and pushed up tight to this weather stripping. See how the weather stripping gets, you can push it in. And when I have this door closed, you see how sloppy it is? See that? It can go in, can't it? And so I can do that by adjusting that bottom one, and then that'll I'm going to put my foot on the door. If I adjust it in like that, now it's going to open and close without doing that, okay? All right, so I can either pull this off, but I'm going to take a little screwdriver. There's a little groove. Do you see that little groove right there? I can take a standard screwdriver and pry on that just a little bit and push that out a little bit, and that should do it. Now some don't have that little screwdriver area, and then I would take it off and then adjust it with a pair of pliers. Okay, but I'm just gonna let's get some light in here. I think there's enough light. I've already adjusted this a little bit, and it's already, this paddle in there is already out at a little bit of an angle. And so I may, if this doesn't work here, because there's only so much you can adjust that before the latch won't want to pop in when you try to open the door. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Yeah, it's still doing it. So I think I'm gonna go the extra mile. What is the extra mile? Well, I wasn't thinking I was gonna have to do this either. But I'm gonna take this this strike plate off, and then I'm going to move it over towards the door a little bit, mortise this out. I have to move it over far enough so when I put new screws in there, they don't hit the same screws or loosen up, or I may have to use some longer screws. So it not only just goes into the 3/4 inch thick door jamb, it goes all the way through there and into the 2x4 that's behind there. Do you see what I mean? And then I can take the paddle, this little adjuster there, and instead of having it pushed way out, I'm going to have to push it back in, and then I believe I can get it to work. Now see, if I take that and bend it out any further, I'm afraid nothing is really going to happen, because once you adjust that enough, there's only so much you can adjust that. See? Now it's barely closing, and you know, can I live with that? I guess I could, because this actually has a lock on it. It's going into the garage, and most of the time at night I'll turn the thumb turn, okay? And so if somebody ever got into the garage, they'd have to break into the garage first, then they would have to beat this handle off or try to kick it in. They can't really kick it in because there's a deadbolt that's holding it too. They'd have to break the whole door jamb out, split it out, to then have both of these latches come out. You see what I mean? So I did bend it a little bit more. It's pushed it in a little bit. I know there's still more slop to it, and if I wanted, I could go the extra mile. And you know, I might just want to go the extra mile, because it's in the winter, and this weather stripping on your doors, you want that weather stripping pushed in tight. Do you see what I mean? And so I still have a good 1/8 of an inch, if not more, that I can mortise that in and push this in more. Okay. Worst case scenario, I may have to mess with this this strike plate up here and ream out the opposite side on that side to get it to not rub on this side now instead of that side. Does that make sense? Okay, and it looks like I might be able to adjust that a little bit more. Okay, so I just happen to have my nail bag here. I'm going to have to find a chisel, and I'll get right back to you and show you how it's done. Good grief, it took me forever trying to find my tools and stuff. I just moved it over from another place, and I couldn't find my drill bits, and so I had to do some rummaging around in the garage and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so now I'm ready, and I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do these screws by hand, and look at that. Look how long this screw is. That's good. That's actually kind of good that it's not just a little short screw, because then when I put them back in, they're going to go all the way into the wood behind the door jamb. Okay, and see, here's the tab. See how far it's. I've got it tilted like that. Now I'm going to have to bend that back. Hopefully it doesn't snap off. I'm going to have to be careful with that. And that's the problem with this type. When you do it with the screwdriver, there's only so many times you can do it. You can't, you know, hopefully I'll be able to push it back with the pliers, hold my mouth just right to where these little small tabs don't snap off. If they do, then I can't really adjust it much right there anymore, right? And then I'll probably have to get another one. And I can tell right there, this thing's kind of bent too, so I have to fix that. Okay, and I'll get ready for the next step. What is the next step anyways?